Coming up on today's episode of Airborne-Unlimited. GAMA, value of airplane deliveries increased in 2025. China's 6-ton tiltrotor is airborne. Radio altimeter upgrade cost concerns. Welcome to Airborne Unlimited. I'm your host, Cam Walton. Let's get into today's stories. GAMA, value of airplane deliveries increased in 2025. The General Aviation Manufacturers Association, GAMA, said in its billing report that when compared to 2024, the business jet and piston airplane segments saw increases in shipments, and preliminary aircraft deliveries were valued at $35.7 billion, an increase of 14.6%. The billing report was part of the State of the Industry report by James Viola, GAMA president and CEO. The state of the general aviation manufacturing industry remains steadfast. We continue to see robust numbers of total aircraft deliveries as well as annual billings eclipsing $35 billion, the highest it's ever been. Airplane shipments in 2025 when compared to 2024 saw piston airplanes increase by 10 units to 1,782. Turboprops declined slightly by 5.1% with 594 units, and business jets increased 11.8% with 854 units. The value of airplane deliveries for 2025 was $31 billion, an increase of 16.1%. Helicopter shipments in 2025 when compared to 2024 saw piston helicopters at 206 units and preliminary turbine helicopters at 732 units, an increase of 4 and 14 units respectively. The preliminary value of helicopter deliveries for 2025 was $4.7 billion, an increase of approximately 5.5%. After the break, FTC finalizes consent order in Boeing's Spirit acquisition.
The legendary BD4C program is building an exciting future for those who want a rugged 4-seat family flyer with a proven history. The SureWings program produces a complete kit and builder assist program that gives you everything you need to be flying a BD4CS in record time. For conventional kit builders, BD Aviation has parts, partial kits, and full kits for the 190-mile-per-hour BD4C that has logged thousands of hours. Visit surewings.com and bdaviation.com for more details.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some shorter stories. FTC finalizes consent order in Boeing's Spirit acquisition. The FTC finalized a consent order involving the Boeing company's acquisition of Spirit AeroSystems Holdings. The Commission previously accepted the consent order subject to final approval. The FTC required Boeing to divest significant Spirit AeroSystems Holdings, Inc. assets to resolve antitrust concerns surrounding Boeing's $8.3 billion acquisition of Spirit. The consent order also requires Boeing and Spirit to continue to provide aerostructures and aerostructure services to competing contractors. The FTC's final consent order includes a modification that clarifies the procedure for Boeing to submit compliance reports. Latam in the spotlight for possible post-V1 rejected takeoff. Brazilian aviation authorities are investigating an unusual high-speed rejected takeoff involving a Latam Brazil Boeing 777-300 at Sao Paulo Guarulhos International Airport. The aircraft's nose wheel had already lifted off the runway, meaning the decision to abort was potentially made well past the general recommended speed. Flight tracking data indicates the aircraft was traveling at approximately 174 knots when the rejection occurred. After braking to a stop near the end of the runway, the aircraft began to taxi but decided to wait on the taxiway for emergency services to respond. Danger outlined for misuse of ADS-B data. Jim Kuhn, Senior VP of Government Affairs and Advocacy, briefed the Buckeye Fly-In on several issues of concern to pilots. An issue that the troubled organization has engaged after a number of others did a lot of footwork to build industry awareness. Better late than never. Kuhn went over such topics as unleaded fuel, the airport supply network, Mosaic, and legislative issues. One topic he highlighted in particular was to urge members to push for legislation to prevent the use of ADS-B data as a cash register to collect fees. New paint scheme for Air Force Executive Fleet. The Air Force is rolling out a new paint scheme across the executive air fleet, including the next generation of Air Force One aircraft in a color palette of red, white, dark blue, and gold. The redesign will be applied to the VC-25B, the military designation for the Boeing 747-8I aircraft that will serve as Air Force One. The Air Force One program involves converting two 747-8 aircraft into specialized jets equipped with advanced communication and defense systems. That effort is 4 years behind schedule. Well, that's it for today's trip around the patch. Now let's return to the rest of the news. China's 6-ton tiltrotor is airborne. United Aircraft Group's 6-ton R6000 tiltrotor has moved into tethered hover testing at China's Wuhu Aviation Industrial Park, reportedly in hopes of achieving certification before the end of the year. The design has been around since 2021, with the prototype first taking the stage in 2024. The tiltrotor began its test campaign last year with tethered hovers. While it has yet to take flight beyond being tied to the ground, the R6000's first flight meant that United Aircraft got to return to this year's Singapore Air Show with the functional prototype in arms, helping convince onlookers that its certification by 2027 goal is possible rather than just ambitious. Though it'll be a while before the manufacturer puts out final numbers, United Aircraft projects a maximum takeoff weight of roughly 13,450 pounds. Cruise speeds just under 300 knots, and a maximum range approaching 2,500 miles. If engineers are able to deliver, this would give the R6000 far greater reach than most helicopters in its weight class. The R6000 is a fairly unique design, but undeniably shares several qualities with some of the very few, very well-known tiltrotors on the market. Its closest lookalike is the Bell V280 Valor, especially its particular tilt nacelle configuration where only the prop rotors rotate rather than the entire engine assembly. After these messages, radio altimeter upgrade cost concerns.
The next evolution of the TBM family has arrived, the TBM 980. Featuring the Garmin G3000 Prime Avionics, the TBM 980 delivers next-level intuitive control and cockpit intelligence. At its core is a Pratt & Whitney Canada PT6E66XT engine and 5-blade Hartzell composite propeller, managed by a fully digital FADEX system for smooth, precise power. Fly differently. Fly the TBM 980.
There's a lot of places I get to at the end of the runway or in turnarounds that I need an engine running. So for me, it's very important to have a product that I'm absolutely confident with. I am very confident with the Trailblazer propeller. When I'm flying air shows, I know that propeller is going to be right for me.
Welcome back. Radio altimeter upgrade cost concerns. Two aviation groups have expressed concerns about the potential cost of aircraft having to replace radio altimeters if the FCC moves forward with a proposed plan to expand certain radio frequencies. NBAA and NATA are urging the FCC to employ its Emergency Technologies Framework to Part 91 and Part 135 operators to ensure business aviation safety, equitable cost allocation, and the orderly development of upper C-band wireless devices. The FCC has proposed expansion to the upper C-band, which could interfere with aircraft radio altimeters. The groups noted the proposal will materially alter the adjacent band radio frequency environment in which aviation radio altimeters operate. Radio altimeters are safety-critical systems used during instrument approaches, low visibility landings, offshore and mountainous terrain operations, as well as helicopter missions conducted at low altitude in complex environments. While the FCC is managing spectrum expansion and funding necessary changes, the FAA will oversee aircraft equipment requirements. The FCC recently published a companion notice which would require aircraft equipped with radio altimeters to meet specific performance requirements and affects the existing U.S. registered aircraft fleet and all new aircraft equipped with radio altimeters. The groups said there is a cost to the requirement replacement or modification of radio altimeter systems across the Part 91 and Part 135 fleet that imposes significant capital, certification, and operational burdens. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne. And don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.